I don't know. It's an okay album.
Best personal favorite. You're out of your fucking mind.
What the? No.
And it's not even close. It's not. I'm telling you, it's not even close.
I don't hate it.
No, that's where we're at now. I don't hate it. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined, as always, by my peppy and cheery co-host. I'm already getting tongue-tied. Alexander Volt, say hello.
Hello.
This is Every Album Ever, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time. That's a whole new discography per episode, except for bigger ones like this where we have to split it into multiple parts. And today we'll be discussing, what would we be discussing, Alex?
This is part 2 for Siouxsie and the Banshees.
Hell yes. Check out part 1. We put that out like a couple of months ago. And it was a lot of fun. We had a whole journey with Siouxsie from was it 1970? Yeah, from 1978 to 1982. We covered up until A Kiss in the Dream House. And now we'll be covering everything until the end, 1984 to 1995. And I imagine this is kind of the era where, or the era that people stop paying as much attention is in this episode.
There's some heavy hitters here. There's 2 albums I've never heard before. And you know what? I was surprised, actually.
You were surprised?
I was surprised. So
Okay. Interesting. As we discussed in part 1, I am going in blind, despite the fact that I grew up listening to all kinds of post-punk and everything, and I have a newfound, as with Alex, a newfound adult love of goth. Mm-hmm. I had no experience with Siouxsie. I went in every single album completely blind. Coming out a pretty fucking big fan by the end of all this. But this episode is definitely the one that has the worst album in the entire career. I'm gonna say that very confidently.
Oh man, probably.
What are you talking about? Probably. This is without a fucking doubt.
I'm gonna need a little bit to figure that out, because there was one album where I was just like, this is the worst. It's like, and then it kind of, I was like, no, it's not. I went back and forth a little bit.
Really?
I had a clear winner for best personal favorite, but worst. Yeah. I went back and forth on a few things. I was
actually going back and forth for a second. For a second, I thought like, oh, obviously worse. And by the end of it, I was like, nope. No, it's not.
I will say they have their worst songs in here for sure. But
yeah, that's no question. There's a lot of stuff here. The band has gone through numerous changes already, and they kind of keep going through changes up until the very end.
And then they pass the baton off to Charles Bradley, and he goes through some changes.
Sure does. Even though that's a Black Sabbath song. Check out the Charles Bradley episode. That was a fun one from forever ago that no one appreciates because nobody knows who Charles Bradley is.
You know what Charles Bradley and Siouxsie and the Banshees have in common? They both know how to do a fucking cover song.
Yes. For the most part, yes.
Yes, but I'm getting a little ahead here, but...
Indeed. I mean, a quick spoiler, there is a cover album in here. Mm-hmm. And, well, we'll talk about it when we get to it. There's no reason to jump right now. But there is a covers album here, which I wasn't expecting at all, actually.
Yeah, I think all these albums were, like, super cheap, so I own and have heard most of them.
Oh,
yeah.
I did not realize that you were such a Siouxsie head.
I think I said it on part 1 when I got into records. They were the used ones were still relatively cheap, unlike these days. There's still cheap ones, but now the market's just gone crazy. But yeah, so that's how I got into them, was their albums, or at least used copies of their albums, were very affordable and kind to the budget. So it'd be like, oh, I heard of this band. I'll take a chance and see what it's like. And
it was easier to take chances with music.
It was.
Well, I mean now with streaming, there's no chances. But
yeah, but it's a different experience when you've paid money for a even if it's like $5 to $10, and you're like, I am going to listen to this thing.
You have a vested interest in enjoying it. So you're going there hoping to enjoy it, which is contrary to what people might think when they watch us talk shit about stuff, is that we're going in ready to shit on stuff. It's like, I still have my childlike whimsy and love of music where I go into every album hoping I'm going to love it because it's going to give me a good time. But I think it's easy to take for granted music in general. I mean, you pay $10 a month and then you get every song ever fucking written. It's not the same as when I was like a young boy going and buying this random ass Frank Zappa album and hoping it was going to be good. Most of the time it wasn't. I love Frank Zappa, but a lot of those albums stunk. But it's just the chance you take. I
still remember buying my first Pixies album, and I was like a little hesitant because I, only heard one song. And my friend was like, just fucking do it. I guarantee you won't regret it. And he was right. So
which one was that?
It was either Doolittle. No, it was Doolittle. I'd be
surprised if you didn't remember. I'd be very
yeah. Well, it's that or Surfer Rosa.
Interesting. Two very different albums. But we'll talk about the Pixies someday, one day, maybe soon, maybe not, maybe soon. But where did we leave off? I believe we left off with
Kiss in the Dream House. And
Kiss in the Dream House and the leaving of John Magooch, which people were very kind to point out that his name is actually not pronounced Magooch. I didn't think it actually was.
No, we didn't.
It's much funnier to call him Magooch than McGeoch. It is McGeoch. Yeah. I didn't know that at the time, but we know now.
I could have looked that. We could look lots of things up. We just choose not to We
choose not to. We're lazy. We suck. But John Magooch is out and Robert Smith is in. Actual Robert Smith from The Cure, who would fill in. I think he filled in on a few different tours with them as like a favor, and this time they cashed in on the ultimate favor, and he joins the band. We have a good chunk of notes here from our boy Tom Osman, who should all go support and follow and check out his podcast where he interviews a bunch of musicians. Thank you, Tom. He compiled like a good shit ton of notes here, and well. Yeah, it starts with them recruiting Robert Smith, and this is taken from postpunk.com, and there's also some stuff from a fan site called untiedundone.com, but this is from Postpunk. It says, Robert Smith was then recruited a second time into Wonderland to join his hand on guitar as a Banshee, now becoming a full-time member. Smith at the time was still recovering from the emotional anguish of the Cure album Pornography, which led to Simon Gallup leaving the Cure, major reason for the band's hiatus. I gotta say, I didn't know this was in the same time period as that. Pornography is like the only Cure album that I listened to a ton. I love that album.
I've listened to their albums in passing. Not even like, what's the other big one? Disintegrator? Is that the other one?
I forget.
Yeah, I think they have a few.
Disintegration.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know Pornography is also big in general. Ayo.
There's so many Cure albums I haven't heard, but one day. That's a later day. This thing goes on to say, this was a pivotal moment as this was the period where Robert Smith fully developed his trademark big backcombed hair and hooker red lipstick initially developed during his Pornography era, possibly having its permeance influenced by being part of Siouxsie's entourage and hanging out at the Batcave. And Tom provided us with a link to the Batcave, which is like the origin of goth in England. It was at least according to Wiki, it was launched in London in 1982. And it was a big hub for, Nick Cave, Robert Smith, Siouxsie and Steven Severin. Bauhaus, check out that episode. And then Members of Fetus, check out that episode. Or I don't know why it says Members of Fetus when it's Fetus is just
one
it's
guy.
Just JG. Yeah, it's one dude. But yeah, it was a little breeding ground there. So this is a quote from Budgie, drummer Budgie / boyfriend of Siouxsie. He said, Robert's mad. His nickname's Fat Boy, but he looks so big half the time because he forgets to take his pajamas off when he gets dressed. He's very cuddlesome. Sometimes we don't speak for a month for some unknown reason, and then we bump into each other and have a month of conversations in one night. I like calling Robert Smith Fat Boy.
I don't know how one forgets to take off pajamas, but okay.
Alex, I'm literally still in my pajamas right now.
But you didn't forget.
No, I kind of just neglected and it slipped my mind to put on real pants.
Yeah, now that I don't have to leave the house more often than not, pants are going to be real loose on this podcast.
Real loose. And we haven't even started talking about the album that he's on, and Robert Smith is already gone. He's already out of the band. So he leaves before the tour of the first album that he's on. And it says right here, sadly, The Cure had ended their hiatus in 1983, and Smith was juggling too many bands at once and had to leave the Banshees before they could tour in support of the Hyaena LP. This, unfortunately, did not sit well with Sue, and this is her quote, which is pretty gnarly. She says, "It wasn't like he was ill. He was one of those people who just didn't say no to anything. So when it's self-induced, it's hard to have sympathy. To actually say 2 days before a tour that's been planned in advance that he can't do it, fuck off. What a lightweight."
Wow.
God damn.
I mean, fair. There was no tragedy there, and 2 days before is not
It's not cool. It's royally uncool, actually. And that was from a 2005 issue of Uncut magazine.
Yeah,
so she held on to that grudge.
She stewed with that for a while. Although I am learning people get kicked off tours for incredibly stupid things lately.
People do dumb shit and waste opportunities. It's amazing. It's amazing. It happens all the time.
All the fucking time.
Some of the most ungrateful people on the planet are talented musicians, believe it or not.
I believe it. It's it's an ego-driven, unfortunately, because man, it's beautiful. I obviously love music. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's who would have thought? It's created by some of the worst people in the world.
Doing. Are we 5 or 6 years in almost? Yeah,
almost 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we get started on the actual album, we didn't talk too much about like Siouxsie and the influences and interests so much. We were just sort of talking music, but these are some like little novelty things. I think this is an interview from '83 of just asking her what her favorite shit is. Like her favorite painting is apparently The Last Judgment by Bosch. I fucking love this shit. I mean, Bosch is awesome, but I absolutely love this painting. What's her favorite singer? She says there's a lot, but I'd say Jim Morrison. His voice has been aped and affected by so many people, but he still sounds so relaxed and natural, like the Empty Song's Best, where it's just his voice and a single instrument like Moonlight Drive. His voice was definitely the lead instrument in The Doors. Check out the episode in The Doors.
I was not expecting her to say that either.
No fucking way. Because I don't exactly hear any kind of... Jim Morrison was a pretty straightforward, minimal singer. I mean, great vocal lines, but not like the most like wild, aside from when he would scream. Siouxsie has like a very large style. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little Siouxsie trivia. Apparently her favorite film is Bad Timing with Art Garfunkel.
Not going to watch that.
Fucking absolutely not. Absolutely.
I might watch it.
The quote, she says, I wouldn't classify it as a horror film, but as a thriller, Garfunkel was brilliant. Never heard that sentence before. I was really surprised. I didn't think of him as a musician in the film, which you often do with rock stars who go into acting. There wasn't one bit where I went, eek. Also, we covered Summer Garfunkel a million years ago before there was video. Alex loves them. And
it was my favorite episode until I met Mescal.
Until we met Mescal. Everyone check out Mescal, for the love of God. It's also very gothy if you're interested in that. But yeah, so we're going to be covering the remaining 6 albums of the discography. That's the first one of this era, of course, 1984, last one, 1995, and which is not long before they broke up. But might as well jump into it. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go, baby. This is 1984's Hyaena.
I believe they used a real orchestra for this.
It sounds like it, and it feels like it. At first, when this came out, I thought this was going to be like an intro. That is not the case. does take a while to finally get big.
And according to Wikipedia, Siouxsie did like score this on the piano, and then they gave it to the.
Oh, really? Interesting and impressive.
The stars that shine and the stars that shine in the face of stagnation, the water runs before your eyes.
Oh, this is lovely.
Swallowing diamonds, cutting words, your teeth reflecting things onto the stone.
Oh,
man.
so well done.
I bet the song kills live.
What was that?
I bet you this song's awesome live.
Oh, such great percussion. So that's a pretty, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, that's a pretty lengthy opener, but beautiful.
Yeah, it kind of, for me, gave me a false sense of hope.
Really?
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's an okay album.
Best personal favorite. You're out of your fucking mind.
What the? No.
And it's not even close. It's not. I'm telling you, it's not even close. This was like obvious. Whoa, dude, what's happening?
I don't think it's bad.
How is this? This is almost as good as Juju. This is insanely good.
It's fine. I like it. I don't hate it.
Fuck. No, that's where we're at now. I don't hate it. That's where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. Starting off hot.
God damn. What is just okay about following up that gorgeous opener with We Hunger?
It was okay. I do like that it feels like it is set in like a post-apocalyptic setting with like cannibals running around. Kind of goofy to me though.
It is goofy, but it's a fucking super cool song. It's really busy, really cool percussion on there. It sounds like if a robot tried to make tribal music. It's super unique with really great instrumentation. It has like quite vague riffs, but it's such a great follow-up. And then fucking Take Me Back comes on with these organs. And it's what I love about Take Me Back is that I love it about the first 5 songs in general, but it feels really good on Take Me Back. It just shifts the tone. Every song shifts the tone. The opener is this really big, dramatic, bombastic, orchestral, gorgeous thing. Then We Hunger is this really kind of like aggressive, percussive, strange one. And then Take Me Back just goes way more anthemic, way more like, way more hooky, way more just accessible. It feels fucking wonderful. Love it. Great bass lines all over that one. Different style for them, but I think it works great.
I think that's the first Take Me Back's like the first time I notice the Doors influence there. This because how can you not with an organ like that?
It is a very Manzaric ass organ. Another tonal shift, following that up with Belladonna, which I can get if someone doesn't like that song, but I think it's really good for pacing. It's a very lively, it's very fast, upbeat, kind of happy.
Also, the first handful of songs aren't really bass driven, so it is nice to get that more traditional Siouxsie and the Banshees bass tone on Belladonna.
That one's a lot more straightforward.
You got some slight ethereal vocals and strings towards the end of that one.
I think this album is paced so damn well because you follow that up with Swimming Horses with these big bright pianos. It maintains a lot of the energy of Belladonna, but with a little bit more darkness. It's not like super dark or gothy. It's just a little bit more to stop it from blending in with Belladonna. It's like,
to me, it was a little more floaty and does have like an aquatic feel to it. And Bugsy, that man rarely misses. Like he's just, I don't know. It's a little more slow and he's just playing these like interesting snare rolls, not the like traditional like military snare rolls people probably think of when they hear it. But yeah. Just interesting drum choices.
Yeah, he really doesn't disappoint. Sometimes when I was not enjoying stuff, I took it for granted a lot because he really is fucking killer on every album. But after the guy, we got Bring Me the Head of the Preacher Man, which brings back all the darkness, super gothy and morbid with a Latin flair. It's got fucking castanets and flamenco guitars, but doesn't come across as a cheesy Latin song. I think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think that and Dazzle are like two of the like stronger songs for me on this song or album.
For whatever reason, you don't think this is best, fine. But how could any album with Running Town on it not be considered like, all right, you got to give it up for at least that? That's one of the fucking best Siouxsie songs, period.
I mean, I agree. Running Time is amazing. I don't know. I just kind of felt like there was some better flow to other albums.
Dude,
or like, yeah, like after that we get like Pointing Bone, and I don't love that song. It kind of has a krautrock vibe to it.
Yeah. Pointing Bone, like, so first of all, Running Town is just, it's so good that so it's perfect. What do I always say, Alex? Second to last song, it's okay if it sucks.
That's true.
You put Running Town, my fucking my soul is on clouds because of how much I love the song. Pointing Bone comes out, I'm fine with it because it lightens the mood. It's a different feeling song. It's not it's the weakest song in the album, but it's still not like horrible. And then you close it out with Blow the House Down, one of their fucking best closers also. You sandwich that's kind of okay song between those two juggernauts. I'm fine with it.
You know, you make some strong points here. I
have a point.
Yeah. I do like the use of, I feel like when Western bands usually bring in like Middle Eastern feel to the song, it's usually done in the spirit of psychedelia, but here it has more of like a galloping feel to it. There's some hand claps. So I like the like dark fairy tale motif with the, galloping Middle Eastern feel to it. It is a very unique song.
So it's funny you got Middle Eastern from that. I got Asian from that.
Well,
like I think of it as like Chinese goth. Like I mean like Chinese Asian more so than like Japanese or something. But it's a very creative and unique sonic thing they have on that song specifically. It's just the arrangements give it a complete different feel than most other Siouxsie songs. And I imagine that's, I don't know how much these orchestral players, I don't know if they're on more than, I imagine they're on more than just Dazzle.
I think it was just Dazzle.
Is it just Dazzle?
Yeah, it is just Dazzle.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of Dazzle and those people, we got on there, we have Robin Cantor on oboe. We got a fucking oboe in a Siouxsie song. Surprised
that didn't happen sooner.
Yeah, fair enough. And the Shandos players, which is a full string section. And was this produced by Mike Hedges, who's done, what has he done? He's done The Cure, of course, Max Street Preachers, U2, Dido, Texas Travis, The Undertones, Siouxsie, of course, The Beautiful South, Mark Almond. So he's an English guy. He's been around. But yeah, this one, fuck, man. I'm so blown away at considering how much we came together with Juju as being such a fucking amazing album. Yeah. And I love this album almost as much as Juju. It might, depending on my mood, I might go this one over Juju, just depending on my mood.
After talking to you, I think the back end of this album's doing some heavy lifting for me personally. And then, I think after Dazzle in the middle is this kind of, it's okay.
Oh man. Well, the most memorable stuff is in the back half, but I love the pacing of the front half so much that it kind of keeps me like a carrot on a stick kind of thing. But well, my best and personal favorite, without a fucking doubt, Alex is Nothing for some reason.
Yeah. I don't hate that.
He doesn't hate it. That's whatever. Yeah. We'll take it. But we got some more. Are you ready to move on?
I'm ready.
Hell yeah. This is 1986's Tinderbox. different kind of opener.
I love how electric that guitar sounds.
What was that?
How like electric the guitar is. I like the tone of it.
Trust in me, my pretty one. Come walk with me, my helpless one.
Oh, I love her on that chorus.
Don't say it 3 times.
Don't. Hey. Otherwise, you get the bees.
Not the bees.
There's more to that song, but it's pretty straightforward. There's a moment, not moment, but there's like a recurring section where she's doing a lot of nya nya nyas.
Yeah.
Love it. I love the nya nya nyas.
Best personal favorite.
So as soon as you didn't give it to Hyaena, I knew it was going to be this one.
Knew it was this one.
Yeah, because let's be honest, folks, the rest aren't that great. Well, they're just fun. It's not that simple. We'll get to it. But so this one wasn't nearly as paced well for me. But what is it? Tell me.
I like every song except for one song on here. So
Which one?
Oh, 92 Degrees.
Damn it. That's not I dislike only one song too, but it's not that one.
Couldn't even come together on that.
Nope.
And then we'll probably have different other picks, but
probably. Yeah.
Obviously, we got a lineup change here.
Yes, we got no more Robert Smith, obviously.
And this guitar player has the audacity to call himself John Valentine Carruthers.
That's quite the asshole of a name, but to be fair, he is from Wortley, West Riding of Yorkshire.
Oh, okay.
So,
no, that checks out then. Yeah.
It's no one is more English in the world.
Yeah. I mean, after my boy Magooch, I think he's my second favorite Siouxsie guitar player.
Really?
So like I dig his contributions to the band. Yeah, I think the last album too is good. Listening to these albums, I realized I do like my Banshees to be somewhat bombastic, which was lacking on the last album, and these songs are pretty bombastic. And
give me some examples.
Oh, like Candyman, Swedish Chill. I think the last album is more about like vibes and the energy around it, where like here, like we got some like riffs going. I like how like frantic the strings make Swedish Chill feel. There's like a darker section that goes into like that like ties that with the unrest. So it really is like one long song to me. It's just really epic. And then I'm a Simpleton. I don't care. Cities and Dust is one of their like biggest songs, and it rules every time. It's just, how can you not like that song?
That's the only song on the album I don't like.
How can you not like that song?
So when you go into a band completely blind, not even looking at reviews, not looking at what people think is you come out with your honest opinion.
Yeah.
The intro is pretty fucking cool. It's a lot of boingy sounds. It's almost like spider music. It sounds like a lot of wind chimes as well. But it's a little bit on the cheesy side. A lot of percussion on the chorus, which is fine. It's a nice big bouncy riff. It's not. I don't think it's a bad song. It's just not one of my favorites, and it's my least favorite here.
It feels like a Siouxsie song you can dance to. I think there's a lot of cheese in this. We'll get into other songs on other albums, but I don't think it's Cities and I think it's this 80s. I don't think it's...
Yeah.
Although the 80s are cheesy, but...
The 80s have become sort of like the cheesiest decade. And this isn't... Especially after hearing the rest of the albums, Cities and Dust isn't even remotely close to what is considered offensively cheesy.
No.
I mean, it's like going back to it now. It's like, that's fine. It's a fine song. I have no problem with the song compared to the cheese that we're going to get in a few albums. But it's still the rest of the song I do like a good amount. Like on cannons. We got some nice driving toms with these big old English gothy acoustic guitars on the chorus.
That song does feel like an attempt to recapture some of that juju magic, because I always think of those acoustic guitars on that album. So that's a nice little send back or throwback there.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like I actually didn't even like it on first listen. It won me over second time I heard it. It's just good energy, you know.
The drum playing on Parties Fall is so crazy. He's doing like these unique drumming patterns, and it's almost like he's doing a flam with like 4 arms on like multiple different drums. It's just very cool the way the drums sound on there.
Great drum choices. Really nice chorus too. I felt the end kind of drags a little bit, but the first chunk I like enough to kind of, you know, be okay with it. It has a lot of 90s-ness to it. It feels like 90s style riffs, oddly enough.
They went forward. They went forward in time on that one.
And then later on, they're going to go backward in time. But
Yes,
92 Degrees is the gothiest thing ever written. One of the gothiest things ever written. It has that quintessential 90s era Swans drum beat. It's like, I would just be beatboxing if I tried to do it, but whatever.
Yeah.
If you think of Swans in the 90s, fucking White Light or Love of Life, same drum beat, big, giant, bright acoustic plucks. Really nice guitar lines all over that one.
Yeah, I've tried to listen to it multiple times, and it just doesn't grab me the way the other songs do on the album.
Oh, really? It's one of my favorites.
The final 2 minutes I do enjoy. I think there's some nice guitar playing going on in the last 2 minutes. And then, Lands In. We got, again, more cool drum beats / fills by Bugsy. I like the way the bass and guitar play off each other on there, and really gets going around the 2:30 mark. So I was surprised, like a closer kind of ends on a little bit of high energy there.
Yeah, it's a great closer. It's a wonderful closer. It's clean and chilling, but it's got, I mean, the drums, like you said, I mean, absolutely rule. Really busy stuff. And then there's one section around 145. I mean, it goes to a total mood shift. It might be might continue into the section you're talking about, but total mood shift, very machine gun like and melodic at the same time.
Yeah.
Great closer. But yeah, I mean, it's a good album. I like the album, but it did feel like a step down. And I didn't like the pacing nearly as much.
More high energy, more guitar riffs, more drum beats and fills. I guess this is more rock driven than Hyaena is.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. But yeah, Alex's best and personal favorite and my nothing. And then now we're once again at 0. We've come together and we've evened out.
And then in one more album, it'll get messed up. No, it'll probably take at least 2 or 3 albums to get messed up.
We'll see how long it takes for us to screw things up again. But so there's a little bit of not lore, but just backstory to some of the stuff like Candyman, according to this story by Betty Page from 1986. Not the Betty Page. It's Betty with a Y. By the way, did you know Betty Page was a fucking murderer?
No, I don't. I've never heard of this woman till now. No,
like Betty Page is like the pinup model.
Oh,
with
really?
The fucking banks.
No, what?
I saw it on a fucking Twitter, history, interesting fact thing. Because I mean, growing up in East LA, I mean, you see all over the place. You know who Betty Page is, and apparently she had a lot of mental disorders. She went full Christian crazy, held a knife to her family, stabbed her landlady a bunch of times. That one, she didn't kill her. I don't know. Did she actually kill someone else? Because I heard she attacked multiple landladies with knives.
I don't know if she killed anybody, but yeah, I'm like glancing over the mental illness part as you were talking about it.
Gnarly stuff. I did not. It's funny how like someone could be so iconic and you could see their image everywhere, and there's this insanely morbid but fascinating reality of what happened, and I've never once come across it. No one ever brought it up to me.
Yeah, I guess it's so crazy. I thought she was also like one of those people who died young, but she lived to be 85 and was alive until 2008. That's insane.
That's almost crazier than the fact that she stabbed her landlady. But anyway, this is not the same Betty Page. This is I'm imagine a music journalist of sorts, and the backstory behind the song Candyman. According to Siouxsie, she says, it's really to do with grown-ups' abuse of children's trust, whether it's sexual or not, the innocence and dependency as well. I just find anything to do with that is repulsive. Pornography or people showing their boobs, that's another thing. I'm not going to be puritanical about any of that because that's all grown-ups. I was thinking about hearing Siouxsie say people showing their boobs. It sounds almost like juvenile but funny. In reference to this album, she says the album's coming out soon. It's called Tinderbox. It's called that because everything seemed to happen either around situations or the effect of weather, and the word conjures up something explosive that's to do with something being combustible by the fact that the sun's there and it's made that way. It's not man-made. It has that theme to it, although it's all very diverse. Yeah, like I think Betty said, I ask why Sue always writes about people's dark sides, their hidden secrets, and Siouxsie said, I don't really like to call them dark sides. I think just the understated unmentionables or just the hidden. When you're honest, your favorite story or film isn't about someone having a wonderful time. Life's wonderful. There are no problems and nothing could be wrong. I wouldn't be motivated to go and watch that. I like something more believable, but also more fantastic as well. Yeah, that'd be pretty fucking lame. Yeah.
Excuse me, Siouxsie Sue. Do you like the Paddington Bear movies?
You know what? I bet she didn't give them a chance.
They're British. She has to watch them.
I think it's required by law.
I think it is too.
Join the army.
Yeah. So
those movies rule.
Yeah. I can't wait for you to watch Wonka. It's going to happen one day.
Is it really that good?
Yeah, dog.
Have you? Hold on. We're not going to go into movie tangents because that would be very irrelevant after a couple weeks. But have you seen Furiosa yet?
Oh, fuck yeah, I did.
I have to. I'm trying to avoid the fucking internet.
I could record a whole podcast about what is wrong with people in the world, and I hate that it's much like music, you know, maybe even more so than music, honestly, that a movie is so... the success of it relies so much on people going to see it and how it does financially. And the fact that no one is going to watch Furiosa, this breaks my heart.
That's devastating because I want to go tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, because like George Miller is in his 80s. He's insane. He's killing it. Like visually, it looks like Fury Road. It's such a different movie. Fury
Road is my favorite colored movie. Mm-hmm. The colors of that movie is just all orange and blue, and it's gorgeous. I just love looking at it.
Yes, this is still visually amazing, but it's like done in chapters, and there's not the like frantic nonstop energy that you get with Fury Road and that score. There's places where this like ebbs and flows.
All right, no more, because I'm like very excited. But now that we've done that little detour for a second, moving on to the covers album. All right, but it's interesting. So we're gonna get into it now. This is 1987's Through the Looking Glass.
One day
we will cover the original.
This was my introduction to Sparks.
Really?
Yes.
Fuck. Do.
Yeah, I didn't know this was a covers album when I heard it.
Yeah, me neither.
And then
I heard. I was like, why is they opening it with a Sparks song?
So I won't
for me,
keep that
I'm
on.
talking about way back when.
Oh,
but-
way back in the when, of
Yeah,
course. Yeah, because you've heard it before. This I did not know. Again, I'm going in blind, so I see this. I'm like, they can't be the same. I mean, obviously it's the same. Why are they opening it with a Sparks cover? And then Hall of Mirror comes on, and I'm like, oh, it's a Kraftwerk song. This is a covers album. Check out the episode on Kraftwerk. Hall of Mirrors rules.
Yeah,
So-
we're going to do a lot of plugs here, actually, but
Yes, we've covered a lot of the bands that
been
she's covering
covered.
here, or they're covering here. So
I kind of wanted to give this personal favorite because
really
I think this is like a masterclass in how you do a covers album.
interesting. Explain.
It's got to be one of the greatest cover albums ever. Like the opening, they don't do too much. You get some like sitar sounding instruments and you get like Siouxsie's killer vocals. And then like there's other songs where they just completely reinvent them. But even if they don't, it just like everything feels good. It still feels like a Siouxsie album. Like it just rules.
I don't think it rules. I'm okay with it, but my main problem ended up being too many of them are straight covers because the songs where they transform it, I think are fucking incredible.
Yeah, I don't think they are straight covers. I think maybe there's like 2 or 3 instances of that, and then everything else is like new to me. It's an interesting cover. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, to me, like I said, I think it's one of the greatest cover albums.
So here's why. Now I'm gonna shit on it step by step. I'm not gonna shit on it, but just the problems that I have. So for this tiny big enough for the both of us, that I would consider a straight cover, except it's actually more simple and less interesting than the original had really complex drum arrangements, a lot of chokes, and I mean it's the opening track on one of the greatest albums of all time, and this one. I was very surprised that Budgie's just hanging on the toms for like the whole song, which it felt like that's a weirdly simple thing for him to do for a song that's normally super interesting arrangement wise.
Yeah, I think the original is a little more that like rock opera feel to it, and this is more rock.
It is more rock, and their cover of Hall of Mirrors is transformative and really fucking cool.
I love it so much. Obviously, you're going from an electronic driven track to a band. It's somehow more ethereal. It sounds like a Siouxsie song. Even Ralph Hutter of Kraftwerk gave it up and said, he does not like cover songs. Kraftwerk doesn't really let people do cover songs, but he's like, man, Siouxsie and the Banshees like hit it out of the park on that one.
Dude, wait, you just said he doesn't let people do cover songs. Coldplay uses their entire song.
And to be fair, that was notoriously hard for them to get.
I don't know the story. I just know that they somehow, I was driving with my lady and I put on Computer Love and she's like, that's Coldplay. I was like, no, it fucking is. And this is from the 70s. And then she put on Coldplay and then we learned like, oh, interesting.
I think I did talk about it on the episode, although it's been a long time, but I'll just do a refresh. Long time. And I may be wrong because I didn't come prepared to talk about that. Was notoriously hard for them to get that. Just like leaving multiple messages over and over again. Like, so yeah, it still tracks. Like, that's probably the hardest Coldplay's ever worked. And it probably wasn't even them. It was probably some assistant.
I suppose. And to be fair, their version of it is a nice, pretty song. Obviously, I'm going to lean toward the original for most things, but this cover of Hall of Mirrors it's the original Hall of Mirrors is very minimal. It's very lengthy. It's very chilling. It has like just 1 or 2 electronic layers and then a voice, and it's very simple. This is like way more energy. It's like got tons of layers. Trust in Me is taken from the fucking Jungle Book, if I'm not mistaken.
Hell yeah, it is. And yeah, I mean, you got Louis Prima on the Jungle Book, and now oh man, this version's is so cool.
It's amazing.
If you didn't know it was a Disney Jungle Book song, it really just sounds like a psychedelic, like goth classic.
Yeah, it's really well done. I mean, it's the instrumentation on that one is fucking nuts.
And then we get to like I think the like craziest reimagining on here.
I don't know the original, so please enlighten me.
Dude, I had to like look it up. It's kind of like this very like somber, sometimes like jaunty feel to it by Bob Dylan and the band.
The Wheels on Fire.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat song. But here they've just taken it and turned it into something completely different.
Interesting. Because it starts out a little bit more straightforward, a lot of energy, very dancey. And by the end, man, when those strings are coming in, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, they turned it into like an epic Siouxsie song, and it is not what the original is.
That's good. I'm glad for that.
Yeah.
Strange Fruit is another favorite. It's a Billie Holiday cover, and it's a dirge. It's about as dirge as you'd expect from when you see the name Billie Holiday. Fucking, oh man, the strings and the horns. The horns sound amazing.
Really, I think for me, covering Strange Fruit is a little bit like someone doing All Along the Watchtower.
Everyone's done their own version of it.
Or someone came along and did a version that is just so iconic. Like, to me, the Nina Simone version, the shadow of that, is so big. Like, there is such a gut punch in the Nina Simone version and the way she performs it. So it's like, it's really hard to divorce anything else from that. But like you said, this is more of like a dirge. It has that New Orleans like funeral vibe to it.
I will counter that with the same way, because you specifically use Along the Watchtower as an example. I am a big old huge fan of Ecstasy's cover of that. Check out the
that's
Ecstasy
true.
episode.
That's true.
And they changed it. They did their own thing with it. So that's how I feel about this one. I like this version too.
Yeah.
I was out of the whole fucking album, the whole album. Nothing got me. Nothing got me the way Your Lost Little Girl got me.
Really? Because like,
I think we talked about on the Doors episode that's the Doors' most underrated song. Fucking love that. So we ended the episode with that song.
Yeah.
So I'm going in with like, all right, it's just gonna be whatever. I already like the song. I know what they're gonna do.
It's better.
But it's. I don't want to say it's better, but it's so good.
I'm gonna say it's better. There's like this weird sense of adventure where like the original is a Doors song.
Yeah.
And it has a really different vibe to it, despite having a lot of, similar melodies and stuff to it.
It has the same bass line, of course, and it has the same vocal lines, yes. But rhythmically, they put their own spin on it. So when it goes to the chorus, I always felt, even though I love the original, I always felt the transition to the chorus, it seemed like it wasn't the most seamless thing. Like rhythmically, it wasn't very seamless. Here, they make it like, instead of trying to just play one section and then, all right, now we're moving on to the next section. It's like they're setting you up and making a statement. Okay, now we're going to build up. Now the next section's here, and now the rhythm is completely different. So it's instead of it feeling like a clumsy transition, it feels like they're setting you up for the next part. So it doesn't need to feel rhythmically aligned with the first part. It feels way more. It feels arranged way more with finesse than the original. Also, the chorus now has these Latin acoustic guitars, which work super well. And you know what I'm going to say, baby. At 140, a full for no reason. A full circus section comes in. Full circus music for no reason.
Which, you know, The Doors has a lot of circus music. Feels like a missed opportunity on their part not to.
Especially with it's on Strange Days. The cover is circus performers.
Yeah.
And there is no circus to be found on the original Your Lost Little Girl. But here they decided it'd be best if there were.
Yes. Moving on. We got The Passenger by Iggy Pop.
Check out the episode in the Stooges, and we've covered like a solo Iggy Pop album, but not a full episode.
Yeah, this one falls into the category that the Sparks song does, where a lot of it is the same, but it feels so good, and I like the addition of the horns on here.
It's funny, I don't like the horns. I don't think they don't fit well for me personally. I love the song Passenger, the original, but this one it feels like it goes on too long. It doesn't really do anything different. It feels mostly unnecessary. And I actually don't even really like Siouxsie's vocal choices on this one. I actually like Iggy's vocal choices better. So I like it. I like it because I like the song, but I wouldn't like jump to this as a great cover.
Yeah, like I said, it's one of the ones where there's less retooling going on there. Then we got a song by your boy, John Cale. Dude,
I'm telling you, it is uncanny that every time I find a song that I don't like, I look and it was written by John Cale.
Yeah.
That Gun is the only song I don't like on the album. I swear it wasn't a John Cale bias. I went in and like, this one's actually boring.
Yeah, I agree. It's the weakest one. There's like some wacky electronics and percussion going on there. There's elements where it at times sounds like an ELO song, but it's really awkward.
It also feels just the most not formulaic and just like, oh, this is clearly a rock song from, you know, the 60s, 70s. Whereas the other ones, I mean, you can kind of hear the era on a lot of these, but it just feels like the most normal rock song out of everything on this album, which oddly enough stands out like a sore thumb. You've heard a lot more Roxy music than I have. Do you know the original Sea Breezes?
It's been a long time, and for some reason that was one I just didn't. I don't know why the other ones. This crunched for time, so I can't do like a deep compare and contrast. But I feel like Roxy music's kind of similar to Sparks and where it feels very like operatic and they're, you know, this art rock thing. So it's very interesting that Sea Breezes ends up being this light, minimal song until like the drums kick in around the 150 mark.
Yeah. It's got a nice atmosphere. I think I find it to be very fitting of the title, at least this version of it, because I don't know the original. I found, especially following Gun, it started to drag the album down for me by the end of it, even though I'm fine with the song overall. I just felt this final chunk of the album to be kind of rough. Not so much the closer though, which is Little Johnny Jewel, cover from Television. Check out episode on Television. I don't think we covered this song on an episode, right?
So streaming it's on a live album. I don't know the history of it. But yeah, I was like, this doesn't sound familiar. I had to look it up. I found it streaming on a live album. The original is longer and has more of this like krautrock vibe to it. So yeah, they just take this and transform it into a Siouxsie song. It's less free form, less jammy, and doesn't have that like experimental, simple krautrock vibe to it.
Yeah, it's cool. It has I also really dig the outro in it as well. Yeah, it's a cool closer. It's not one of my favorite things ever or favorite covers ever, but it's cool. But yeah, I'm surprised that, I don't know, there's something interesting about this album because it's like, what was happening at the time period were they just needing a break from writing or something? Or did they find this to be a really particularly fun idea? Like, because it's not often a band just throws out a full cover album, an established band
Yeah, maybe if you have like a bunch of them kicking around. It says they wanted spontaneity and quickly returned to the studio after touring for Tinderbox.
So they just wanted to work on something.
Yeah, I guess they had been considering it. We didn't talk about it, but their version of Dear Prudence was a big hit for them.
Oh yeah. It was a bonus track on which album? Was it Tinderbox or was it Hyaena?
I think it was Hyaena.
Yeah, it was Hyaena.
Yeah. So, yeah, this kind of seems like they had fun doing that Dear Prudence cover and they wanted to quickly record an album. So it's like, well, everything's written. So I think it turned out rad.
It's a good covers album. I'm not big on covers albums generally, but the stuff that lands, I mean,
it's hard to pull off.
Yeah, especially like to make it, because this actually does feel like an album. It doesn't feel like a collection of covers.
Like I said, when I picked it up, I didn't know. I threw it on and I just thought it was a Siouxsie album. So
we got all kinds of string arrangements and our orchestral musicians on this one, but we got Jocelyn Pook on viola, and Tom notes here. He says, "My mom has some Jocelyn Pook albums. Also, did you notice she works Jocelyn Pook, who apparently is been around long enough to have our history guy's mom be a fan, has worked with fucking Coil, which is nuts.
Oh shit.
And Massive Attack.
Oh shit.
Which is pretty wild.
And Stanley
pretty wild.
And Stanley Kubrick.
Oh shit. Did I miss? Oh yeah, no. Wow.
Yeah, she worked on the score for Eyes Wide Shut.
Holy shit, dude.
What a mad woman.
Indeed. We have Jeannie Ball on violin, and Tom says here, I would also like to take a moment to reflect on what an amazing array of collaborators Siouxsie has amassed over the years. I've never really learned too much about this woman, but the more I learn, the more I'm starting to see why so many people idolize her. The Jeannie Ball, another one who worked with Coil, Soft Cell, Psychic TV, Manic Street Preachers as well. I mean, lots of interesting players here that you wouldn't expect to have their fingers in so many pots.
No shortage of talent.
No, yeah, it's pretty sick. But now on to the next one. Are you ready?
I am.
Hell yeah. Here we go. Oh boy. This is, Is it a bit of a break between? Nope. This is the following year. Yeah, they're on a roll. This is 1988's Peepshow. What is this Prince shit?
This isn't Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer.
I know.
I really hate this song.
I hate this song. I'm glad you hate it. You know what this sounds like?
What's that?
This sounds like Devo's shitty era.
It does. Yeah, that's what I was having.
What the fuck is this?
Also, I listened to a Prince album the other day, and although he may use some of the same sounds, he would never do this.
I'm of the King Buzzo camp of, he stinks.
No. Revolutionary.
I actually kind of like this accordion, but it is cheesy as fuck.
Yeah, at some point, or is... I don't know if it's the accordion or if there's a melodica at some point, but yeah, one of those two instruments is like the only saving grace on that spastic mess. It's not even like a cool spastic mess.
No, it's like possibly the first song in the entire discography, including part one, the first song that I hate.
Yes, I agree. I almost wanted to give this.
Guess what, Alex?
You're doing it?
I'm not doing it. You know why I'm not doing it? What? Because from this point on, every album was worst. I had to keep jumping back and forth, but I landed on one that I'm confident with. But at first, when I first heard this, I thought it was worst. That's how much I don't like this album.
I was surprised to find out this album is beloved.
You're all fucking nuts. Sorry. Well, so, no. I'm gonna backtrack. I'm gonna walk that back because the first 3 songs I find to be some of the worst in the whole discography, but track 4 onward, it picks it up, and I actually quite like the back half of this album.
Yeah, there's some things on here. The opening song is kind of misleading. It's not a electronic album by any means, but like Killing Jar starts, and I thought that was going to be a reggae song.
Yeah.
But it's more of a traditional Siouxsie song, but sorry, you got the hiccups. It's just lacking like that punch to it.
Yeah, it comes in. That's exactly what it is. It feels flimsy. It comes in super weak, and it's also like a really happy song, very bouncy. It's something we haven't heard before, but it has such an insanely corny sounds and textures there. It's like actual Disney music. Like it's a really rough 1-2 punch, like that opener with that.
Sorry, I'm like going through my feel. I'm like, do I want to give this worst least favorite?
I wouldn't. If you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I decided not because of how much the back half comes in. Like,
all right, no, I'm gonna talk this through, and in a
we'll decide at the end.
Yeah. Let me talk.
Like
Let's work through this. Yeah.
So Scarecrow, I think it's better than the first 2 tracks by a lot, but still not great. Like, for one, it gets very quiet. It sounds like a mastering mistake level of quiet. It's very odd, but a lot of drum machine sounds, a lot of electronic sounds. It's more dramatic, but I just don't find it to be that interesting.
I do like that it has a better sense of whimsy. There's some galloping parts that I like. I like the use of chimes on the outro. It does fare better, but then like Carousel, what are we doing on that song?
Carousel, I think, is actually very good. I think Carousel actually rules. I don't
think it adds up to much.
Oh, I disagree. So when Carousel comes on, all of a sudden I'm completely confused of what the album is, because it sets it up like, oh, they're doing a shift now. They're changing the style. They're doing this fucking corny 80s sounding shit. And then Carousel comes on and it's back to the super gothy, dark, minimal stuff. It's just vocals and synths for like the first 3 minutes. It's a bit flimsy sounding, but it's pretty. It's a very it's a very anticlimactic kind of section. I get like getting bored by it, but as soon as the drums come in, it goes through a tonal shift. It gets evil sounding. And the riffs just get fucking killer. So 3 minutes onward, it completely changes my mind. I think it's a great song. Then the album goes through several different changes. Burn Up is like a country song.
That's like not just country, but like a hoedown.
It's a hoedown. Yeah, it has a cowpunk beat. It's really corny, but I like it. I'm okay with it.
It's messy, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a good time with that one.
It's a good time. I mean, it really could be worse for a Western novelty song, and it has been worse for many bands.
Yeah,
like to try and dabble with that is a fucking risky move, but I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's not a home run. Maybe it's like 2 on base.
Yeah, it's fine. So Ornaments of Gold is another good one. It opens up with these drum machines and these Asian sounding plucks. A lot of 80s-ness all over, but it's not too bad. And I actually like the drum sound, the way they produce on that song quite a bit.
I think I was just listening to that and it feels like the band, but I'm like, man, if he had Carruthers or Magooch playing on it, like it would have, like they would have hit it out of the park on that one.
Interesting.
Also, think we were just so taken aback we forgot that we're on the final lineup here.
Oh, is this the final lineup?
Yes.
So I didn't. Yeah, this is the inclusion of John Klein.
Yes, and multi-instrumentalist Martin McCarkin.
McCarrick. Yeah, on cello, keyboards, accordion.
So yeah, I think there was just this feels like, oh, we got this like multi-instrumentalist guy and we want to like work all this shit in at this. But yeah, that's where Ornaments of Gold. I'm just like, man, those other two guys would have like, I think they would have killed it on that song.
I like it. I think it works. I think I especially like the energy that it brings. A very emotional song, but with more energy.
My favorite song on the album's Turn to Stone.
It is real good. Very cool track. A little bit of spooky cheesiness on that one.
Yeah, more spooky goth music with Latin guitars. It works oddly well together.
It's a very good song. It's very hooky and it's pretty memorable. The only thing I don't like, the drums actively annoyed me because of how it's literally one beat the entire song. Mm-hmm. And again, it's a thing where why is Budgie doing so? Like, I get doing less. I'm wearing a fucking Swan shirt. I get doing less when it comes to drums. But not when it's like, it's boring. The drums are the only boring part of the song. It's a great song.
He doesn't got that dog in him on this album.
Guess not. It's basically a transition song, a little interlude. But Rawhead and Bloody Bones is hamster music. It's super cute and like, what the fuck is it?
Odd little filler music, and like, does it really need to be on here? But also, it's over quickly, so okay.
I find it to be cute. It's like, all right, that's it completely unnecessary. There's no right place to put that song. It doesn't mix with anything. So fuck it, fine. So this one I have mixed feelings. Last Beat of My Heart, I have mixed feelings about it.
It feels like it's meant to be used in like a film or either opening or closing an album. The placement is kind of weird.
Yeah, it has a very lengthy buildup, of course. It's gentle and heartfelt with various layers coming and going. But it's really not paced well. It doesn't feel good where it is on the album. Like, it feels like it kind of brings everything to a screeching halt. Although I kind of imagine it would do that wherever it was. It doesn't really pick up at all in its entire runtime. It's just a pretty song that I probably would like isolated. I don't think it works for the album very well. However, Rhapsody,
I agree.
The closer, one of their best closers.
Yes.
Fucking rules.
I was a little worried it was going to be similar to The Last Beat of My Heart, but thankfully some drums, some guitar comes in. It peaks around like the 3:13 mark. It is definitely a highlight of the album and definitely like Siouxsie's strongest vocal performance on the whole album for sure.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it's fantastic stuff. It's so much great buildup. The symphonic layers are killer. So that's what this album, it fucked with my brain because it opens up so bad and it ends so good. And in between, it's like, it kind of just gets better and better for like, well, not completely better and better, but like big good moments. So by the end of it, I couldn't give it worse. There's too much good shit on here.
Talking it through with you, I think Turn to Stone and Rhapsody saved this right now. If those two songs weren't on here,
I'm telling you, when it came down to my picks, it was a couple of songs saving it from being worst. Like, that's how close all these albums came.
Yeah.
But not their worst album. I guess it's beloved and we're going to get stabbed for saying this, but come on. How could you fucking possibly like Peekaboo? I mean, come on. What's happening there?
You know,
I can see why St. Vincent would like it, but I don't see why anybody else would.
Yeah. Was it TV on the radio likes it?
Suddenly it's not very surprising now.
Oh, Block Party. Of course. Block Party likes it. And then, Arcade Fire. No, you know what? Yeah, the people who like this album, that fucking checks out. pun
They stink.
intended. Chick. Of course, chick likes this.
Also, John Klein. We brought up the Batcave earlier. He was also part of the Batcave crew.
There you go.
So he's been around a while before they got him, but because it was so well received on our first part of Siouxsie, Tom included more reviews from the time period for us to have a fun time with, because we love. God, we fucking hate music credits.
I like some of them, but I will say our listeners seem to enjoy the part too. So let's go.
So this is from Alternative Press in '88, review of Peepshow by Glenn Gamboa, and here it is. He says, once again, Siouxsie Stu is seemingly trapped. On the one hand, are hordes of adoring fans that could be lost at the first sign of pop leanings. On the other side is that vast land of pop happiness and a word that is strictly verboten: success. Oh, go fuck yourself.
Bro, what the fuck are you talking about?
He's jerking himself off as he types this. He says, what's a self-respecting banshee to do? Oh, I want to...
Ooh, this is bad. This is
I bet he has a
bad.
pencil neck.
And we don't even like the album.
I am lukewarm on the album.
Yeah.
Some songs are great, but fuck this guy. Anyway, once again, the band hedges their bets with Peepshow. This time they go for a lighter treatment of their usually mystical topics, and as has been the case for their past few releases, they include one abashed pop song. The difference is their strong songs have gotten stronger, and their pop song this time out is a real doozy. Listen, do I agree? Yes. Do I like him? No.
I don't like the way you said that.
He says, Peekaboo reveals a band that has not been seen in a long time. On this one, Siouxsie tramps through the funky land that her pals The Cure wandered through last year with Hot Hot Hot, and produces pure pop pleasure with a typically Siouxsie edge. Her off-kilter vocals and what sound like accordion riffs drive this beat-based dance track along. Not surprisingly, the song has caught on like wildfire, entering the college charts in the top 10.
That's surprising.
That is surprising because it's a terrible song. I mean, Jesus. Hold on a second. To hear an entire LP of Peekaboo-like material would have catapulted the band straight to the top. Are you fucking kidding? Are you kidding me?
Also, haven't they already been to the top, or were they just not?
They're pretty top.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he says, but it seems like they decided to hold back. Not that Peepshow isn't worthwhile. It's just that you wonder how many of these nuggets old Siouxsie has tucked away in that spiky hairdo. Fuck. Oh my God. Do they all write like this? I think they all write like this.
I'm so glad like Pitchfork came along, and there's just probably thousands of people who read those reviews and were like, we want nothing to do with this. We don't even want to sound remotely close to this. And it just, I think Pitchfork turned a lot of people off from writing like this. Although that publication / site still exists for some reason. So
yikes. He closes it by saying Peepshow is a compromise album. The battle of to pop or not to pop will be waged another day. But few compromises have ever been so compelling, and it may turn out to be a big success anyway. Then what'll they do? No one asked you or cares about what you think about this. Fuck, maybe someone did. That's why he's getting paid to do that from Alternative Press. But it's just
says two men who speak into a microphone.
Here's the thing: we're bullshit hypocrites, and we should be canceled. No, like the only difference is that I don't like saying bad things about music, and I make my own music. I suppose that's the only thing that separates me from them.
I am a failure on that front, and I always try to preference when I bad talk something that I don't know what I'm talking about, and that I'm oftentimes talking about bands who have recorded and toured. So what the fuck do I know?
Fair enough. Yeah, yours is from the humble point. Mine is from that. Well, I have music. You can go and criticize that if you want. I'm not gonna get mad. Like, yeah. This is the world, and people have thoughts. But here's the thing: if you're trying to sound important while saying your stupid opinion,
I think that's what it is.
that opens yourself up. That's where we come in and start calling you a stupid gay dummy. Like you can't be serious. You can't be serious. It's your fucking opinion. You can't be serious. Anyway, thank you, Tom, for including that. Well, we're not done. We have a few more albums, so we might as well move on. Now, this is where the albums stop streaming. These are not streaming. You can find them on YouTube. It's what we had to do. But we're also in the 90s now.
Which is weird, but yeah, we're there. It'll still sound like the 80s, though.
It will. So strap in. This is 1991's Superstition.
Now, this is pop music.
Yes, this gave me a false sense of what I thought the album was going to be.
Much like the last one.
But this is a good song.
I disagree 1,000,000%.
This 10 times out of 10 over Peekaboo. The song.
Compared to Peekaboo, I do prefer this song. But I still think this stinks.
This song rules. This could be like a Sugar Cube song. Check out the Sugar Cubes episode.
Yeah, I forgot about the Sugar Cubes. I find these drums to be nauseating.
It's just, I don't know. It's pop. It's pop music.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like the use of the strings and bringing like these sitars into that. But I think that's the only good song, and I think this has to get worst least favorite.
Worst least favorite. We came together at least here.
After a rocky start. We
had a rocky start, but holy shit. It came close. All right. It came close. But going back, it seemed very obvious. There were things that I'm okay with on here, but as a whole, this is a bummer of an album.
I don't even think I think it's just aggressively okay.
Aggressively okay. So I actually ended up feeling myself get way more bored with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they have worse songs on different albums, not across the board, but like I can pick a song from like the previous album or the next album that I think is dog shit, but more of these songs just do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's just so lukewarm. Like the next song, Fear of the Unknown, is so 80s sounding.
Fuck, I know, dude.
It is like stock Miami Vice music. So it's very jarring to hear her singing over it.
It goes on for a fucking lifetime, and it's the most dated sounding, one of the most dated sounding songs that they have.
Mm-hmm. Cry also doesn't sound like typical Siouxsie, but it's just okay. It's not great. I think Drifter adds some, like, I don't care how cliche it is. I want some darkness from my Banshees. So I think Drifter adds some, moody, dark tunes for the first time. Budgie seems to be showing some signs of life there, but it doesn't do a whole lot still.
So Cry is it like the first two tracks it's a more dramatic version of a dancey pop song.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's better than the first two tracks, but I still think it's pretty bad. Drifter I do like. It has it opens up with this big fake synth cello sound, but it's darker, it's more brooding. I do, like you said, with Budgie's drum choices, there's really subtle toms, really nicely done, and has good buildup. I think it's like, all right, that's actually a decent song. Holy shit. It started out with fucking awful garbage, and it's like, all right, very similar to Peepshow, where it opens up with 3 dog shit tracks and then all of a sudden throws a good one. It's like, I don't understand what they're actually trying to do, what kind of album they're trying to make.
Yeah, and you kind of get that, spoiler alert, on the next one too, where it's just like, what are you guys doing? But yeah, Little Sister also kind of stays in the same moody lane, but it's like more of a ballad compared to Drifter.
It has a little bit more backbeat to it. It has but it's equally gothy. Yeah, it's not as deep as we've come to expect from the band, but it's got some nice vocal lines. It's a cool song. I don't mind it at all.
Man, Shadow Time.
That's where things get bad again.
And that's why I noted, like, this really have like lost their flair for the dramatic on this album. It's also 4 minutes and 30 seconds. It is their most boring song ever, I think.
I literally wrote the words "Please God, let it end" on that song. It's boring, man. I mean, Jesus. And there's so many cheesy sounds on this album. Like, that one comes in feeling like video game music, and it's just so upbeat and happy. And it's just, and the rest are just so bland. And then Silly Thing comes in, and it sounds like fucking home video exercise music from the 80s. It's like Egyptian ass dance music, because it comes in with like these minor key stuff, but it's just so corny.
I think following Shadow Time, anything's gonna sound good to me. But I do like bringing in some distorted guitar there, just to give me something different here. And I do like Bugsy's drumming on that track.
I think there are worse songs in the world, but that's pretty low for Siouxsie.
It's on this album. It's okay.
I'm okay with Got to Get Up.
It's surprisingly fun. It is driven by, for a lot of mid songs, Bugsy's going kind of hard here for no reason, and it does continue to dip into some of those Asian sounds there.
Yeah, he sounds great on it. There's so much percussion on here. It's very very high energy, and it's fun, especially for this album. It feels extra fun. Again, very cheesy, but it's not bad at all.
You want cheese? Silver Waterfalls,
dude.
It feels so dated due to the production and the drums. And is it just, I don't even know if it's the right, are those just like dive bombs like going on the, it's crazy.
I don't know, but it's got to be the one of the blandest riffs ever. It's one of the most boring songs. It absolutely stinks. It's super corny with the rhythms that it has on there. This is like the most 80s 90s album ever. It feels, I really do imagine like old exercise videos with the fucking leotards and the leg warmers, at least with some of these rhythms anyway. It's just, man, bummed me out pretty bad. The same with Softly.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. That one's, oh my God.
That song may have stood a chance on a different album. It's a little more like new agey. Her vocals are very breathy to go with this ethereal music, but on an album like this, it's hard to fight for air and be a good song.
Yeah, it's atmospheric, and it's like it would be a pretty thing to have in the background of like maybe like a score or something. Like it'd be pretty for that purpose. But it's long, and it doesn't go anywhere. It just kind of stays in the one really atmospheric, gentle mode the whole way. However, I actually do like the closer, The Ghost in You. It's basically a pop ballad, but it reminds me of mid-era Talk Talk. Check out the Talk Talk episode, which is, I fucking love every era of Talk Talk, but the mid-era Talk Talk I think is like maybe my favorite, where it's a pop ballad, but it's just really, really hooky, really memorable main riff. It's a fun song. Not like revolutionary or super deep musically, but it feels good.
Opens and closes with good songs with a bunch of garbo in the middle.
I do like some stuff here, but man, it is really hard to stomach this one. Like I was actually dreading listening to it a second time after the first listen. It was, yeah, it's just so basic and boring and simple compared to like, I mean, it's simple and just in the worst ways.
It doesn't upset me. It's just boring. Got 2 good songs off of it. Not as good as what was it? Rhapsody and Turn to Stone though. But
of course, those are very good. Yeah. I do like The Ghost in You, but not as much as those. Oh boy. This review of this album. See, I'm already on the side of this album stinks, so I'm not going to get that upset, but I bet they wrote it like assholes.
There's some verbiage going on here, yeah.
Yeah, this is from Music Express, September 91. And it says, since forming more than a decade ago, the British alternative band Siouxsie and the Banshees has always been a little perplexing. Songs like Hong Kong Garden, Christine, Slow Dive, and their cover of the Beatles' Dear Prudence showed flashes of brilliance and were tantalizingly close to a union of musical mysticism and post-punk. At the same time, stunning live performances solidified the band's cult status.
Let me back up here. I am already, how is it 1991 and we're saying the band has always been perplexing, and then they give it up to them as being like a cult favorite? Like, what are we fucking doing here?
I'm more bothered by the sentence, a union of musical mysticism. He clearly just was trying to alliterate.
Yeah, mysticism could be a cool word, but not coming from this nerd.
He goes on to say, each album held out the promise of better things to come, but despite their accomplishments, the Banshees have continued to fall just shy of this musical synthesis. Oh my God, I want to kick them in the nads.
You know what it is? It's that they're trying to deny them of their greatness, which is already established. They're like retroactively trying to take that away from them.
You can't like say people don't fucking love Juju. I mean, you can't make that a bad album just because you're trying to make a point with this review. That's another thing. Like a lot of critics, maybe, I don't know about now, I don't read shit from now, but like back in the day, they had this air of like, I'm an author, the way they would write. Obviously you see with all this stupid colorful language, but it's like they're trying to literally make a story out of their opinion, which doesn't fucking matter. You're talking about an album.
Like, yeah, your opinion isn't the story. The story is the album. Keep it rooted in that.
He says, one now wonders what direction they will take. I have to read it like a fucking nerd. I can only read it like a spaz, otherwise the effect won't be complete. One now wonders what direction they will take next. Superstition helps to unravel the mystery. With the highly appealing Kiss Them For Me surging in popularity and Cry poised for chart penetration, the band seems set to enter the mainstream.
Chart penetration? What?
Chart penetration. Yeah, you know, that's a word that's how people use sentences.
That's what record executives say all the time, right?
They do it to people who hopefully aren't recording them. But the rest of the album tends to serve as window dressing, exercises in style over substance. Mood pieces like The Ghost in You and Softly are more tedious than serene. Only Silver Waterfalls delivers the goods with ominous guitar stylings and the ghostly ambience of Siouxsie's vocals. That song fucking stinks. Your opinion sucks. Sorry.
Oh, man.
Other tracks reflect the album's propensity for superfluous pop. While progress may have been made in terms of accessibility, the band members have failed to cultivate their creative talents. Regrettably, the Banshees are not aging as well as they might. What is that? 2.5 stars? God damn.
You know what's funny? I think it's a bad review if people read it and you don't know if it's a good or a bad review, and if you have to like reference like like if you have to give a verdict like to like realize what the point is, you failed. Your job is to communicate something. You didn't communicate shit.
That is a thing that you see all the time with music critics. They're dancing around trying to show off all their language, and they're not actually explaining or talking about anything. I don't remember who said it. It was a video game reviewer. Of course, I'm forgetting who it was, but they said that you should know how you feel about the thing, the product, whatever, in the first paragraph. By the end of the first paragraph, you shouldn't have to read anything else. Like you're going to elaborate, but that should tell you everything. It's like an abstract.
That's like what I learned in journalism class. You pretty much write the story in the first paragraph or first few sentences, whatever, depends.
Yeah.
And then everything else is elaborating on that.
Yeah.
That's
this guy stinks.
simple writing 101. I learned that at a fucking community college.
Honestly, community college is super underrated education. The best education I got was from community college.
Agreed.
University didn't teach me shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But after this is from Tom. He says after the album's release, the band was part of the first Lollapalooza tour, alongside Rollins' band and Ice-T.
Also,
check out the Body Count episode from forever ago.
And a few other. But also thank you, Tom, for finding a picture of Siouxsie hanging out with Ice-T. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, I'll put it on the video right now. It's a great photo. I was so confused. Like, is that fucking Ice-T?
I was confused too.
The next year, the band was on the Batman Returns movie soundtrack with the song Face to Face. I didn't put that together. I haven't seen Batman Returns in so long.
Fucking rules. I watch it every Christmas. Every Christmas.
I'm gonna go back pretty soon because it's fun.
It's too bad, although maybe it wouldn't have been good, that they couldn't go like what they did with Prince on the first Tim Burton Batman. Like they just like let Siouxsie and the Banshees do a full album for Batman Returns. That would have been rad. But they also not as powerful as Prince.
Well, I personally hate the Prince songs on Batman. The Batman soundtrack. I personally don't like. If you check out our soundtracks episode, Alex put that on his list, so he's quite the fan.
It's nutty.
But yeah, the song Face to Face, it's fine. I mean, I think it's fine. I'm okay with it. But that is, I didn't realize that. I had no idea. That's such a fucking goofy overlap. Siouxsie on Batman.
In hindsight, it makes a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah, more now. Yeah, but yeah, it's still funny. But yeah, both of our worst and least favorites. This is, I think, the worst Siouxsie album across the board. Definitely worse than anything off the first part that we did. Yeah, and it's yeah. Well, we talked about it. Let's move on.
Yes.
We're at the very end, baby. We've made it. Giant discography.
Oh baby.
Oh baby. That is the opening track to 1995's The Rapture.
Now, what the fuck is this?
It's too bright. Even
This is Ace of Base bullshit, dude.
no, Ace of Base rules. This does not. Like they can do pop songs like we heard on Kiss Them For Me. This is, I don't know, it's not catchy. There's nothing cool or unique about it.
I truly hate this. Truly.
I thought this album was gonna get worse, least favorite. And boy,
So did I.
it cuts a corner eventually.
Yeah.
And that saved it.
Okay. I can't take any more of that fucking song.
It's bad.
So it's bad. And when hearing that, I was blown away that they got worse, that they were able to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
And they hold that. They hold worse for like the first 4 songs. This is awful.
Tearing Apart is just like it's already a bad song, but once that Casio keyboard comes in, ooh, it takes the whole thing.
Dude, it's poppy, watered down garbage. It's among the worst thing they've ever done, without a doubt. It's like Tearing Apart is such a bad song.
And then Stargazer feels like they're tapping into like American alternative rock at the time instead of being themselves. I don't like the way the verses are sung. It feels very like sing-songy, like matter-of-factly, rather than her, I don't know, her entire fucking career.
I like the production on it because
The
it has
acoustic-
these big.
The acoustic
big full
guitar is
drums.
fucking cool.
Yeah, exactly. The acoustic guitars do feel really good, but the song is still bland. I find that one to be a lot better than "Oh Baby" and "Tearing Your Apart," but still, I'm not into it. And like "Fall from Grace," just the way it comes in, like I want to vomit for listening to it. I legitimately hate those riffs.
I was like, man, they are not bringing their A game or anything interesting. I think her voice still sounds great though. Like it still sounds amazing. And then all of a sudden,
Yep.
Not Forgotten comes on, and I'm like, oh, what's going on here? It's darker.
Yeah.
Bungie's killing it. There's like shredding on there.
It's way edgier than most things here. Some really good guitar lines. It's like a completely different band than what we just got 4 songs in a row of. It's so confusing.
But surely that's just an outlier. Surely we're going back to crap. No, Sick Child is pretty fucking cool.
It is fucking great. I think it's legitimately great. I think Sick Child is legitimately great.
You want to hear the music critic thing? If I was writing like pretentious reviews, would
What's
be Sick Child doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it's something that's within the band's wheelhouse.
Hi-oh. There we go. That's where, hey, take note, fucking music press,
Yeah. Associated
Associated Press. Fucking.
Oh man, you know what's wild though, and I don't know how to feel about it. The Lonely One.
Oh, I don't like it, but it is novel. I mean, that slide guitar is like one of the
Dude.
few grabbable aspects of it. It's goofy.
If you wanted to hear if you just play like Beck music and like a ranchero band at once, that's the song.
You know what? You're not wrong. I don't actually like that slide guitar. I mean, it's really distinct and you can grab onto it. It's a unique texture, but it's fucking stupid sounding. I mean, I'm not even sure who the song is for though. Like you brought up Beck. It seems like this is for like the most casual of casual 90s audiences. Like,
Yeah.
songs like that.
Maybe they were this. Yeah. Once that accordion starts like going hard, they're going after that East LA market.
So at this point, this is where things start to really pick up because Falling Down is way louder, way heavier than the rest of them.
There's like off-putting guitar noises, which I welcome. At first, I thought it was an okay song, but the more it went on, I was like, no, this song rules. This is amazing.
It's cool. It is cool.
It's a
I wasn't
legitimately
like,
good song and not just in context of garbage.
yeah, a lot of great aspects, really good, interesting guitar stuff, really good lines here and there. And it's a heavy song. It's groovy and heavy. Forever takes things in the complete opposite direction. It goes melancholy with really gentle, kind of like water level sounding synths.
Yeah, and it was just a matter of time before we got a song like that, I guess. It doesn't really escalate or have peaks or valleys, but there is very, very pretty guitar playing on it.
I like the marching band snare. He's doing some interesting rhythms with it. Yeah. It's different than each one in the past. And around 220, there's this really, really interesting guitar choice. I just like the way it's pulled off. It's beautiful. It's really nice. And
Let
then
me tell you,
we got to talk, baby. The title track.
I saw that runtime. I was scared.
11 minutes.
I was scared at this point in their career. I don't know if they fucking pulled it off.
They pulled it off. How do they pull it off?
It's one of their best songs.
I wouldn't say it's one of their best songs. I'd say it's a great song though.
Yeah.
This late in the career on an album that is already iffy, following an album that was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
You're going to do an 11-minute song and it's good.
Rules. It rules.
It's really good.
Yeah. Dark, dramatic. You get some drums in there. Oh yeah, the strings it opens with are beautiful. Yep. It's just, man. I was scared, but I've accepted it into my heart.
Super nervous about it, but it takes a while to get going, as you'd expect with a long song like this. It goes on for like 4.5 minutes with this slow synthy build. Not really melodically that interesting or eventful, but it's like pretty. It's kind of like, I mean, it's a slow build. And then after that, the strings come in and it gets fucking atmospheric and devastating. And man, it's so many nice choices. Like the final, like 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes. Great drum choices, really cool, gothy bass chords. It's just, it's fucking cool. I was really surprised at how much I fucking loved it by the end of it.
I was like, if I gave star ratings, I may give this like a 3-star, like 3.5. I was like really surprised by this album.
So surprised. Like, how could it have such dog shit and such great songs on it? Like the extreme ends of both. Because following the title track, we get the Double Life, and I like that one a lot too.
Yeah, it's it's not like anything too crazy, but at this point, I'm a simple man. This give me some distorted guitars and these dark, moody basses, and I'll be happy. Bass does a lot of heavy lifting too, so yeah. Their earlier albums, I feel like the bass was like kind of pivotal to a lot of songs, so like it is cool to hear it in a song like this. Yeah,
it's really repetitive. It kind of carries most of the song. The guitar is doing these chords that ring out, and there's like spoken vocals. It's a different style of song, but it's really heavy. It's very gothy. It's very cool. I don't love the closer, Love Out of Me, so much.
I caught off guard there. Surprised we're going out on like a high energy song. It kind of feels like a John Carpenter song.
It actually definitely does. I didn't write that down, but I was thinking it.
Yeah, and then I don't know if that's like a harpsichord or what's going on there, but it's going off, and Bungie's doing what Bungie does. So this is gonna be.
Are you calling him a Bungie? I can't.
I'm this tongue tied. What's Bungie? Bungie? I'm sorry.
It's funny if we call him Bungie.
I'm notorious for this mixing shit up in my head, and I don't think about it. I just say it. So
moving on. It is a high energy. It's high energy goth. It's very similar to a lot of the other songs. I don't love the riffs so much, but it's not an awful song though. I wasn't like upset by it, but I was just tired like by this point in the album, because really I feel like it should have ended with the title track. I mean, it's such a great song. It's such an epic. It could have ended with that. So, all right, we're going to get 2 more songs after it. Fuck, man. That's a lot.
You could cut some of the goofy stuff and you could put those other 2 songs in the beginning of the album.
Dude, this is also their longest album, I think. It's like 54 minutes, something like that. Yeah.
You could put
really
Love Out Me as the opener. Cut Oh Baby. Cut Tearing Apart. And then put in Double Life. Fixed it.
All of a sudden it's a solid.
It's a 4-star now.
4-star, a solid 8 out of 10 kind of thing. Man, this is a truly baffling album. Like, I can't believe the extremes of how bad and how good it gets. It's fucking nuts.
If I saw this for a reasonable price in a record store, I think I would purchase it.
It's a fascinating one. Like, I ended up not being so like angry by the end of it. It's just weird.
I thought I was going to be tired, but I'm not. So
yeah, man, what an interesting career, interesting band. Fuck.
There's worse. There's way worse.
Yep, sure are.
Even the bad stuff, it's not great, but it's not like, I don't know. They're not like pure stinkers.
Yeah, there's stinkers with asterisks. Also, this album was produced by John Cale.
There we go. He redeemed himself. Kind of. Halfway redeemed himself.
Tom said, unlike Michael Giroux, I guess Siouxsie had the financial backing to be able to afford John Cale as a producer. So on the Swans episode, we talked about how Michael went to meet with him and then realized that he could not afford him. And then he ended up just getting some advice. But He says, Tom says, I wonder how Mike and Alex are feeling after listening through the whole discography. I'm tired just compiling notes for all these albums.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah. Mostly pretty good.
Feeling manu fucking feek.
Yeah, hell yeah. So after this is from Melody Maker from 96. They break up. And this piece, this is what it says. It says, Siouxsie and the Banshees have disbanded after a career spanning 20 years, the same week that the Sex Pistols have announced the support acts for their London Finsbury Park show on 23rd of June. Now, in our for part one, we noted that Siouxsie was part of the entourage that was on that notorious Sex Pistols interview that where Steve Jones called him I forgot, called him
something
dirty fucker or something. I forgot, but yeah, I think the guy was the host was making a pass at Siouxsie, and she looked like fucking Alex from Clockwork Orange. But yeah, so this is one of the first Sex Pistols reunions. They elaborates more. It says the Banshees, who stressed that the split which was entirely amicable, have cited nostalgia surrounding the Pistols reunion as a major factor in their decision. And the statement from the band says, as the music industry prepares to relive the heady days of punk, when confusing the opportunist with the protagonist, it proceeded to sign anything with a safety pin that could spit. Siouxsie and the Banshees would like to say thank you and goodbye. To our loyal fans and friends for their immitigable support, to Polydor Records for an amicable split after 18 years, and to the musicians for their indelible spirit, Martin McCarrick, Knox Chandler, John Klein, John Carruthers, Robert Smith, John McGeoch, John McKay, Kenny Morris, Peter Fenton, Marco Peroni, and Sid Vicious. 1996, Siouxsie and Budgie begin new recordings as The Creatures. Steven Severin has just completed new material for the soundtrack Visions of Ecstasy. Siouxsie and the Banshees, 1976 to 1996, R.I.P.
And they meant it and haven't gotten back together since.
Well, they had some reunions.
Oh, okay.
They did have a couple, but nothing nothing permanent. So this is from the wiki. It says, in 2002, Universal Music kicked off the band's remastered back catalog by releasing the best of Siouxsie and the Banshees. In April, Siouxsie, Severin, Budgie, and Chandler reunited briefly for the 7-Year Itch tour, which spawned the 7-Year Itch live album and DVD in 2003. The day after the last concert in Tokyo, Japan, Siouxsie and Budgie stayed in town on their own and entered a recording studio as The Creatures. Their fourth and final studio album, Hail, came out a few months later. On March 4th, 2004, McGeoch died in his sleep after an epileptic seizure at the age of 48. Siouxsie and Budgie had talked about inviting him to guest with them on stage before hearing the news. Very sad. But yeah, that's it. They had one reunion in 2003. So, and yeah, that's all she wrote.
McCruthers is still alive though, so I can dream.
You can dream. Yeah, I think
that's my lineup.
Oh, you mean Carruthers?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Carruthers.
Yeah, I was confused by his name too. Yeah, she's still doing solo shit, I imagine, if I remember correctly. But I've obviously never heard any of that if I'm barely hearing the Banshees, you know. Yeah,
I have not heard any. Only one solo thing. Only one solo album. Wow.
She only has one solo album. Oh, wow, you're right. 2007. Never mind. Well, The Creatures did more. 4 albums for The Creatures, but yeah, like the thing said, last one was 2003.
There was a Portlandia skit where they were like making fun of hipsters and people getting into music. They like jokingly like called her Sucky Suck. I don't know why I thought of that right now.
Portlandia is a weird one. It's a good show. I mean, I've only seen some of it, but it's just the only sketch show of its kind, I think, that has like legit music people as the actors.
Yeah, Carrie Brownstone, I believe, and
from Cedar Kenny and Fred Armisen, who left a very touching Steve Albini tribute memorial thing.
Oh,
they were good friends.
I need to read that.
Yeah, I still need to watch the Danzig one. I still need to see that. Yep, we're at the end. Holy shit! So let's do a little recap.
best personal favorite, Tinderbox. Everything rules except for one song. Worst, least favorite, Superstition. I do like Kiss Them For Me, though.
Indeed. And for me, best personal favorite, Hyaena. Everything rules. I love it. It's one of my favorites, and it's easily second favorite Siouxsie album. I adore it. Worst, least favorite, Superstition, because holy crap. And that is the end of our series on Siouxsie and the Banshees. We did it. Yay. God damn.
All done.
So yes, thank you so much for listening and watching and hanging out. If you want to support us, fucking subscribe, talk some shit in the comments, hang out. It's cool. It's a fun time. You can follow me on all social media at PandaMonkey and Alex on Instagram at
Every Album Alex.
Please be sure to follow our history guy, Tom Osman, on Tom Osman Sounds on all social media, as well as TomOsmanSounds.com for all his music. He does a bunch of work for us, compiles notes, history, gets interviews for us, gets albums for us, all the works. And he also has his own podcast where he talks to independent musicians. All kinds of people. He's talked to fucking John Wright from No One's Know. He's talked to, obviously he got King Buzzer for us. He's talked to all kinds of people. It's very fucking cool stuff. And you can find that at whatever comes next on all social media. You can find links to that in the description and tomosman.substack.com. It's all there. And for us, patreon.com/everyalbumever. That's where you go. You get 2 bonus episodes a month. You get to see our schedule in advance. You get to vote on polls to decide who we cover next. You get to join our Discord and be a part of our community and hang out and talk music, talk shop, talk shit. It's also where we... Huh?
And talk.
And talk. Fuck, that's hard to say. It's also where we pull out suggestions for our EAE singles episodes. So if an album came out this year and you want to hear us talk about it, throw it on the Discord and we'll pick it out, do an episode. And if you're tier 2, if you're bigger than Jesus, then you could suggest a full ass discography, just like Siouxsie here. We will cover a full discography. And then in addition to that, you can suggest any album from any discography and we'll do a Patreon bonus episode on it. There's plenty of perks there. It's all fun, good stuff. It's nice and cool and fun and good. I think that about does it. I have an EP. Check out my EP. There's a link to that in the description. It's cool. If you want to criticize my music. Closing it out. Now, since you picked the one for part 1, I'm going to pick one for part 2.
All right.
How's that?
I'm cool with that.
I have to go with Running Town. I have to.
Yeah, go for it.
Too damn good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So thank you so much for listening and watching. See ya.